sisters in Christ, it is only fitting that we bring to a close our third edition of the PCNE by gathering again around the table of the Lord to be fed by His Word, by His body and blood, His Excellency the Most Reverend Giuseppe Pinto. Thank you very much for listening. He is accompanied by his two collaborators in the literature, Monsignor Arnie and Monsignor Crispin. We also thank our brother priests who come from different dioceses and religious orders and our very own here in the Archdiocese of Manila. It is a Sunday, but I'm sure they will work double time this afternoon and evening in their respective parishes. So maraming salamat, dear brother priest. And to all of you who are here, and especially to those who persevered, those who were here for the opening and up to this moment. We thank Dr. Love for proclaiming the first reading. And we thank Sister Lovely for proclaiming the second reading. I don't think that's her name. Sayang naman eh, Dr. Love, hindi Sister Lovely na rin. This day is devoted to sending, mission. And the first session this morning was devoted to a reflection on being missionaries of Jesus, missionaries of mercy. But God is really good. Through the readings, we are given a gentle but important reminder. Pinapaalalahanan tayo ng mga pagbasa. Paano nga ba maging mabuting missionary? How do we become good missionaries of Christ? This morning we said, as people sent by Christ, we are supposed to bring the face of God's mercy in Jesus Christ. But the readings are asking us, how can you bring the face of Jesus? How can you bring to others, to the world, that merciful face if you do not first receive that face? And so the readings providentially are about receiving hospitality. Hospitality. Ang pagtanggap. Pagtanggap. And in the context of PCNE and our mission to proclaim in word, in deed, and our relationships, in our persons, the mercy of God, the fundamental question is, natanggap niyo na ba? Have you received? Are you hospitable? We Filipinos pride ourselves in being hospitable. Sana, yung tunay na diwa. Let us go through the readings. In the first reading from the book of Genesis, Abraham was hospitable to strangers. Strangers. People who had no connection with him. People that he did not recognize as his own. They were strangers. But Abraham received them and gave them the treatment that kings and queens deserved. Sino sa atin dito ang tatanggap ng hindi kilala? Basta na lang papapasukin. He ran to the entrance of the tent. He bowed down before them and begged them, stay. And he prepared a meal. In our days, because of all the fears that we have, fear of terrorism, fear of thieves and robbers, fear of pickpockets. Kilala niyo ba yung katabi niyo? Kilalanin na ninyo. Baka pagkatapos ng PCNE, naku, nasaan ang aking wallet? Nasaan ang aking cellphone? Mabuti siguraduhin niyo, kilala ninyo. Pero kahit kilala, nakakadukot But because of fear of strangers, we do not welcome them. We are not hospitable to strangers. We have confined into a very limited sphere people that we will welcome. And many more are alienated. Many more, as we said this morning, are discarded, thrown away. Hospitality to strangers. Jesus is asking us, can you receive us? Can you receive me in the face of a stranger? Abraham did not realize that he was receiving God and messengers of God. Hospitality to strangers. Nung batang pari po ako, meron isang gusto raw makipag-usap sa akin. Bumaba ako. Nakita ko, simpleng tao, naka-t-shirt, may supot, paper bag na supot. Ito na naman ang isip ko, kasi araw-araw may nanghihingi ng pagkain, may nanghihingi ng tulong. Sabi ko, one of them. Handa na yung isip ko. O ano po maipaglilingkod ko. Pwede ko bang makausap yung pare? Hindi ako naman, hindi naman pabalang. Ako po yun. Ano po ho? May pakay ko ako sa inyo Ako nga po Ano nga yun? Dumudukot-dukot na ako sa aking bulsa. Sabi niya, pwede ho ba doon na lang tayong dalawa sa sulok? Pwede rin naman po dito na. Parang naaano ako na, dali-daliin na, ano ba? Tagal, doon din naman pupunta ang usapan. Sabi na, dalian na. Kaya, Father, doon sa sulok. Ako naman, para mabilis na nga, sige, doon tayo sa sulok. Father, ako naman simpleng tao lang. Ito ho kasi sumpot. May naipon po ako Ito-donate ko po sa simbahan. Ba't hindi yung sinabi kaagad-agad? Kung patagal-tagal pa tayo. Ganyan. Parang, halika, welcome. Gusto mo sa taas tayo mag-usap. May kape doon, merong biskuit. Ano ba? Talagay ko, hindi lang ako. Pag mukhang stranghero, parang, sige, dalian mo na, ano ba? Pero kapag may pakinabang tayo, parang, welcome. Tuloy. Meron na akong nangungulit sa akin yun Birthday ko, hindi siya, attend kayo. Titignan ko, may schedule ako. Araw-araw, parang lubina. Attend kayo. Nung araw na ng birthday, umaga, tinext ako. Tinawagan pa ako. Attend kayo to, ma'am. Sinabi ko na ho sa inyo eh. Hindi ako pwede mamaya. Tsaka sa loob-loob ko, hindi naman kami talaga close. Stranger. Sabi niya, kasi po, sa birthday ko mamaya, lahat ng regalo, ibibigay ko sa diocese. Anong oras mamaya ang birthday mo? Anong oras naman? Baka magagawaan ko ng paraan yung aking schedule. Oh, Lord. How do we welcome you? Where do we welcome you? Welcoming Jesus in strangers, in the outcast, those who feel really strange, in a strange land, where nobody cares, where they do not receive respect and dignity, will we be hospitable? In the gospel, it is not just a stranger, but Jesus himself coming as himself, as a friend to Martha and Mary, and how they welcomed him. Martha busy with the little details of hospitality in the kitchen, and Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus, apparently not concerned about hospitality. And that prompted Martha to complain, "Please tell my sister to help me welcome you." But then Jesus said, "Yes, you are busy with the work being done, but Mary is also welcoming me." Here we ask the question, have we really welcomed Jesus? And by that, from the lesson we learned from Mary and Martha, welcoming Jesus is really asking him, what does he want? Very often, we welcome Jesus, but according to our terms. True hospitality to Jesus means, figuring out what pleases him. I had a teacher who asked us the question, define a sweater. Hindi kami, iba-iba kaming definition. Walang pumasa. And then he said, a sweater is a piece of clothing that a mother puts on a child when the mother feels cold. Yung nanay ang giniginaw, yung anak ang pinagsusweater. Pawis na pawis yung bata. Mag-sweater ka. Mag-sweater ka. Bakit? Kasi siya ang giniginaw eh. Ganun ang ating hospitality. Minsan hindi na hospitality eh. We are imposing. Mawalang galang na ho. Minsan yung mga nag-iimbita sa amin, pipila ako para kumuha ng pagkain. Ay, hindi siya, kumuha ka na. Kami na magbibigay. Sigurado ang ibibigay, hindi yung gusto ko eh. Yung gusto niya ang kainin. Yung para sa kanya masarap. At ganun karami, yung kaya niyang kainin, pagkarami-rami. Eh, maliit lang naman ako, hayaan nyo na kami pumila. Pumili, yun ang gusto ko. Sometimes hosts are overbearing. But when it comes to receiving Jesus, it means asking. what pleases you. We might be receiving a Jesus that is of our making, and not the Jesus who freely wants us to comply with his desires. And Jesus is opening a new world to the women of his time, not only to Mary, but to Martha. Because at that time, women were not allowed to learn about the law, the prophet, from the masters. Women were not allowed to sit at the feet of teachers. Jesus wants them to receive him and the new world that he is opening for them. Receiving Jesus, be prepared. He will tell us, ito ang gusto ko. Kaya mo pa ba ako tanggapin? When Jesus says, if somebody slaps you on the right cheek, turn the other cheek. Will we welcome Jesus? When Jesus says, sell everything that you have and give to the poor, will we welcome Jesus? Hospitality to Jesus. Listening to him. And finally, from receiving strangers, receiving God in the form of strangers, receiving Jesus in his desires, and not what we want to impose on him. The third from the letter of St. Paul to the Colossians. And here, St. Paul received the mission from Jesus. He was hospitable to the mission. The mission of making known Jesus to the Gentiles. And in the process, he was hospitable to the afflictions of Christ. In fact, he says, I fill up in my flesh what is lacking in the sufferings of Christ for the sake of the church. Not only being hospitable, welcoming to graces, blessings, good things, but being hospitable to trials, sufferings, afflictions, for the sake of the gospel and the sake of the body of Christ. Will we be hospitable to mission with suffering? And for St. Paul, the only source of strength is that Christ is in us, the hope of glory. The theme of the Eucharistic Congress that we held in Cebu last January. Through all the trials, I welcome Christ. I welcome mission. I welcome even sufferings, because I know, I believe Christ is in us, the hope of our glory. Before we are sent as missionaries of mercy in this Eucharistic celebration, we are asked to receive him. To receive him in strangers. To receive him in his will, and not our will of him. And to receive him in the mission, in the sufferings that the mission entails. Tatanggapin ba natin si Jesus? Ang tatanggap sa Kanya, ang magdadala sa Kanya sa iba. Let us pause and open our hearts to the readings, and with the empowering Spirit, the Spirit that hovered over the Blessed Mother, may we welcome Jesus. May we be hospitable to Him. May we welcome Him in the strangers, in the suffering and the poor. And may we welcome Him in the mission that He entrusts to us, with its pains and its glory.